These are just a few examples of the use of love and the need for unselfish love that is just exemplified so well in John's Gospel. I find it surprising that there are some who call themselves Bible scholars, students of the ancient writings, who doubt the authenticity of John's work. Now, this is despite the fact that the Gospel of John is found in of the very earliest works of translation.
This was a really interesting moment towards the end of the Friday morning symposium. They were moved by Holy Spirit, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We've just been hearing from Mark Laftany from the Wallkill Bethel. He's dealing exclusively with John, and he's talking about how surprising it is to him that there are people who call themselves scholars who doubt the authenticity of John. So what he's really doing is he is bashing scholars. It does irritate me the way the organization speaks out of both sides of its mouth when it comes to the extent to which we should listen to Bible scholars. Just by way of comparison, I want to show you some clips from a very recent video put out by Jehovah's Witnesses. Again, quite a polished documentary style format that we haven't really seen in previous years, that has this kind of veneer of credibility. But in this video, they're very much bigging up Bible scholars. The video is titled, "A Lost Bible Translation Rediscovered."
This is Birmingham, once the home of renowned scientist and minister Joseph Priestley. In 1789, Priestley joined forces with a group of talented individuals to start work on a new translation of the Bible into English. For the past 200 years, this project was assumed to have failed, and all work considered lost. How was this translation different? And why was it never published? We spoke to several scholars to uncover the story of Priestley and his translation project.
We had always assumed that this translation had been lost at that point. So the finding of Garnham's New Testament translation amongst his papers, amongst our collection, was a revelation, a great surprise.
The manuscripts in the Dr. Williams Library are terribly exciting. This was a translation undertaken by real scholars who knew their Hebrew and Greek.
It's absolutely fascinating, and it needs bringing to a wider audience.
So isn't it interesting, the overall tone when it comes to Bible scholarship in just those couple of clips that we've just seen, compared to this sneering tone, this sneering dismissiveness displayed there by Mark Laftany at the convention? You know, you can't have it both ways. Either we're going to listen to what scholars have to say about the Bible, or we're not. And bear in mind, Bible scholars devote their careers to understanding the Bible. You know, they devote decades of their lives to analyzing these texts, to understanding the history, to figuring out where the texts come from, who wrote them, you know, what were the local cultural influences going on, all of that stuff. And they have come to certain conclusions about the authenticity of certain books. And when it suits the organization to wheel in a scholar and say something that doesn't disagree with their position, they will do that. But if a scholar dares to suggest that a particular book doesn't have authenticity, or that there are contradictions between different Bible books, suddenly we shouldn't be listening to scholars.